episode of Market Buzz. Today we have a lost soul that has come back to us from the depths of the other side of the world. Mimi is back in today's episode. The market seems to be going crazy. Semiconductors are down on the day. Broadcom is down almost more than 14% right now. Micron down, AMD down, Intel down, Nvidia down. Semiconductors right now, are they taking a breather or they're just reloading before we go into the next step? In this episode of Market Buzz, we're gonna try to find that out. We're also gonna be talking about Bitcoin, which is being super weird lately. Super weird lately. I think we are sitting currently on
$800?
$62,000. Yeah,
Is it
62.7. Yeah, 62,
62,
k.
200?
Yeah. And
200. So it bounced. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. It bounced a little. It did? I don't know. Like I haven't been keeping up too much with it, but
It did.
also like it was for a while like in 80. Like I remember but I haven't been looking at it fully just because I've been sort of consumed by the semiconductor trade,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, it's been kind of insane. Trump
Where,
also
sorry, you go.
yeah. Trump also seems to be maybe a deal, maybe no deal, and that's sort of spooking markets because he just continues to delay, and Israel seems to be having a crazy impact in how the market is seeing the resolution of this matter. Any issues with the Lebanon seem to spike the possibility of not getting a deal with Iran, and yeah, it's been such an interesting past couple of weeks, and we've just been so euphoric. Like the market does feel euphoric around semis right now, and the question is does it continue? Because it could continue. There are some cheap value companies, even though they've rallied like 300%. But the big question is like, is is it gonna continue or not? So in that episode, we're gonna try to find this out. We're gonna try to give you what we are paying attention to, what companies we are looking at, what trends we're looking at. By the way, take everything we say with a grain of salt. This is not investment advice. Again, this is just our opinions on what we are doing with ourselves. Welcome to another episode of Market Buzz. Yes. Okay, Mimi.
Yes.
How's life treating you?
Good to be back. I
Yes.
have I have proper internet. I'm in Australia. It was
Well, let's
I'm
go.
in Australia for a few more weeks, but it's good to be back. But you know what's interesting is that because I live and breathe Bitcoin and especially lately more so like geopolitics and oil, and it's like for me what Bitcoin is doing to me is normal. Like I expected this to happen. It's just more a case of you can't pinpoint exactly. But for people who are not like just analyzing Bitcoin and seeing how it's trending or how it's correlated, because I think that because the stock market did pull back, then obviously it impacted Bitcoin. But I had expected Bitcoin to 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 revisit the 60Ks when it was at 70 something. It hit 82K and just above 82K. And I was like, okay, so I can't, should I short right now? I don't even know because there's so much liquidity above. But for me overall, it's so hard right now to pinpoint lower time frames. Like how is price action going to unfold you know, when you're looking at lower time frames. But overall, Bitcoin for me hasn't bottomed. And I get messages, like I got a message yesterday when Bitcoin started to quote unquote collapse in their eyes. And they're like, it's collapsing. And I'm like, it's kind of doing what it's meant to be doing right now. And then there's probably going to be a bounce. But for me, honestly, I don't think Bitcoin has bottomed. And if we put TAs aside, technical analysis aside, if we put aside the war and what's happening, if we just think about the psychological aspect, because a lot of my trading is based around psychology and is based on market maker moves. And so I said 2 days ago, when Bitcoin was in the 70 something, 74K or something, I said to another trader, I said, I think this potentially might unfold. Potentially Bitcoin might head towards 60K again, and then everyone's going to call that the bottom. right? That okay, that's the bottom. It starts to rally, and it starts rallying again. Everyone's like, okay, cool. That was the bottom. We're gonna buy FOMO. I think there needs to be another wave of FOMO,
Okay.
yeah, before the next leg down. But I don't know exactly. I just think that right now it looks pretty normal to me because I'm expecting lower prices. But I think most people soon will say that look, 60K is the bottom. It was the bottom before. But that's my take. I
But
spoke to
do you think?
Dimitri. Yeah,
No. Continue. Sorry.
I spoke to Dimitri, I think a few days ago as well. And I said, I have the optimistic view, the realistic view, and the doomer view in terms of where Bitcoin is going to go. And he goes,
Okay.
give me the optimistic. And I said 50K to 60K. And he was like, holy shit. And like, do you want the other scenarios? Because I do have the other scenarios. And the realistic view, which is my view, is 40 to 50. I think it's going to go between 40 and 50. And I've been saying before when I was, talking to you guys, 48K is a level that I'm eyeing because there's so much liquidity stacked there for 2 years. But there is still also the doomer view. And when I say doomer view, it's just like if shit hits the fan, like something happens, right? And there's a lot of things that are on edge right now globally, as we know. And my
Yeah.
doomer view is 30 to 40. And it's still,
Okay.
even still at that stage, at those levels, Bitcoin is still only 74% down. And in the past, when we're talking about previous bear markets, we've had 90%, 80%, and I think it was like 77% was the previous one. And that's only 74% if it goes to the doomer kind of level. But realistically, I would be buying. I mean, some people would buy in the 50s. It's realistic for it to go to the 50s. I'm eyeing 40Ks.
Okay. So you wouldn't increase your position until 40, you mean?
Look, probably early 50s, I'd consider it. But I
Okay.
think I would have to look at everything else. Like I wouldn't just look at the chart. I would look at, okay, where geopolitics, where is that? Where's the conflict at? Macro, in terms of the macro, where's that at? Where's S&P at? Like I would look at so many factors before considering whether to scale in.
Okay. All right. No, because
Yeah.
it's interesting just because like Bitcoin has been sort of like tied to semis and tied to tech for a little while, and now that seems to have decoupled at least for the last couple of days, weeks, I would say.
Yeah.
And right, like usually Bitcoin is sort of like at least for a while for me was like a leading indicator when it came to when it came to like risk on sentiment or how the market was seeing sort of
Yeah.
like just momentum and all of these different things. And it's interesting that we are coming down as we're starting to also potentially see some fears start to go into tech, into semis, into AI sort of build out transition phase kind of thing. Right. So interestingly, like I've always kept saying sort of like if you like Bitcoin at 100, you like Bitcoin at 60, right? So it's like
Yeah.
I actually just I just bought some because
Yeah.
I was looking at the chart and it was interesting just because of all of the news that we saw, and obviously this got exacerbated by MicroStrategy selling, I think it was like 32 Bitcoin just to pay for some things. So all of
Yep.
the news started compounding, and obviously like the risk of sentiment and how the war is doing and all of this sort of
Yeah.
starts piling on each other, and it just looks like a good entry here. Now if
Yeah.
it continues to drop, I'll continue to place positions at different levels as well,
Yeah.
right? Because even Adrian was talking about potentially just seeing, because even if we look at RSI on the daily, still we are seeing sort of like that oversold. It just like the speed and the momentum of how fast it went down is pretty
Yeah.
interesting too here.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, like, the thing is, like, you could be there. There are people that just trade based on price action. There are people that trade based on fundamentals. It really depends on what you're looking at. And I just there's really so many factors, but I just think we would, if you're happy with 60K, knowing that potentially you could see 40K and you're okay with that, then yeah, buy. Because there are people
yeah.
that are doing that already. People started buying at 70, so it really depends on, no one knows
Like
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, go.
yeah. I mean, if we knew, we would like if we knew we would be sitting in our private jets going, to like
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
else, right? So it's
yeah.
like that's the hard thing here, right? Like obviously like the risk level sort of like as it goes lower, the risk levels could come down depending on the narrative, depending on the story too.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't gonna get a chance to get them at 60 again because since February we touched 60 and we weren't even close to that,
Yeah.
right?
No.
So yeah, I'm looking to
Yeah.
set a position here actually.
I
It's
mean,
not
like,
it's not gonna be big. It's not gonna be crazy, but
yeah. Let me give you really briefly like my case for, because it's just not numbers I just pulled out, like just
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. No,
everyone's
for
talking
sure, for
about,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So look, I go on X and I'm just gauging like short-term sentiment just to gauge where things might move, but it's not where I'm getting my source. It's just more so there's a lot of confluence at those specific levels, particularly around the 40s and the 30s. Okay, so in around 40, the 40Ks, there's just a lot of liquidity there, and it makes sense. However, just below that, what I've been looking at a lot is just historical data, which is what Timothy looks at as well. And there's
Yeah.
just so much confluence. If you look at previous bear cycles, if only we had Timothy here, he could just bring up a chart and, but the, where there were the accumulation phase started and where Bitcoin started to bottom out, it lines up with not just liquidity, but like Fibonacci levels. So if you're talking about technical analysis, when I look at it, because I've been studying that so much, it's just landing at specific levels every single time. And then
Yeah.
people talk about, the rules of diminishing returns, right? So yes, over time, rules of diminishing returns apply, but potentially also losses as well. So we won't go down 90%. So it's like
Yeah.
at first it was 2014 was, I don't know, just off the top of my head, it was 90% or so. Then it just goes up, and there's less and less and less. Even if we go to 35K, it's still less than it was last time. But there's just so much confluence. And if you also talk about, look, there's the debate of the 4-year cycle. And I used to be very against the 4-year cycle too. I'm just like, look, it's all about fundamentals. But when it breaks, it breaks. But if it hasn't, you just really got to put your ego aside and be like, look,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
And the trend is your friend. You know what I mean? Is this what
Yeah,
people say, right?
yeah,
So no, I get you. Like the thing is like it's so hard to kind of like give value to Bitcoin, right? Because it's like it's not like a company that you're able to just say, okay, like this is how much money they make, this is how much money. Like there's so much related, so much more to the community side, and so many different aspects that all of these different sort of like I would say the technicals play a big part as well into sort of
yeah,
how the price of Bitcoin moves and what the expectations are and how you can connect it with other assets and other markets and
yeah,
XYZ. But I don't know. I like it looks interesting just because like it does look like RSI is oversold. Last time it was here potentially yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
took that trade. I took the trade. Like I would definitely buy more if all of a
yeah,
sudden we saw sort of like even if it went down a little bit lower, right? Like the question is
yeah.
just like what could it go down to? Now if Micro Sailor starts selling again, big problem. But well, we'll have to pay
But
attention to that.
but what concerns me is I get what Bitcoin's doing. It's just more the stock market. So the
Yeah.
S&P, that's
Yeah.
what I want to talk about next. It's just like the S&P and
Okay.
semiconductors.
Yeah. Well, okay. I said, well, the thing is just like the whole market has been semis for the last little bit, right?
Yeah,
It's been interesting. If you look at how just the growth that the semiconductor space has actually just added to 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 the market cap, like to the market
yeah,
cap, like to the market cap of the sector, it's been nothing but stunning. And
yeah.
yeah, right. But yeah, it's been yeah.
But
Just to say the
yeah,
least. But today
yeah.
we're actually coming lower, which is interesting too.
Well, it needs to breathe. It needs to breathe,
It
right?
feels normal,
Yeah.
but also the fact that Broadcom is down 15%.
Well, didn't Broadcom miss earnings?
I don't think they did. I think they had really good earnings. I think it was just the guidance and then a
Guidance,
potential
yeah.
shift on gross margins here,
Well,
right?
something
Like that's what
skipped
my
it.
research is telling me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know what it was? The wall of war hit hard yesterday, right? All of a sudden, we had like, I think that the prior day we had the U.S. fighting, right? So it's like they were actually
Yeah.
like, I think the Kuwaiti airport got struck, like, but got hit by a missile. So
Yeah.
that was a big problem, right? So the war was having its impact, and obviously, like, the war has not had any effects on semis at all, right? Like the
Yeah.
market has been chugging along, and we're talking about one of the craziest rallies I've like lived through,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And like we panicked after the war, but then all of a sudden the market just came back roaring, right?
Yeah.
And America, it's almost like it's not even faced by any of the fears there, right? So insanity, like it's been crazy to say the least. But yeah, I mean, like we are seeing a small correction, but if we go to the year to date, it's nothing. It's a blip on the radar, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
look at year to date, we're still sitting at AMD 144%, Micron at 250%. Even Nvidia is the one that's struggling along, and even Broadcom is at 18%,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's been ridiculous. It honestly has been ridiculous. But I had some thoughts a few days ago when, just continuously watching the S&P rip upwards, and on X everywhere, everybody started to, when I say most people started to post a crash, like an epic crash. And I had thought also that we would see a fairly big crash also, but that was my thesis, a month ago. Then I was like, this is interesting, right? I still think it's coming. I think I'm early. My thesis is still early.
That's yeah. Adrian is in the house.
Hello, hello,
Oh,
welcome.
Hey,
You
Adrian.
know
what's up,
why?
guys?
Hello,
Yes,
hello.
yes.
But
Yeah. So,
yes.
so
Okay.
yeah,
So
and so sorry.
no. You're good. Go, Mimi.
So,
Go,
so
go, go.
I'll end this really quickly. I just think, okay, I think what's going to happen, because I'm just focused on the psychological aspect. I think what's going to happen is that this is a few days ago, I said, there's going to be a small correction. And then people are like, yep, this is it. Because it's never going to go the way people think it's going to go. And so I'm just like, okay, there's going to be a small correction. We're seeing it already. But I'm like, there's going to be a small correction. Everyone's going to call the massive crash that is coming now, and then people, it just goes back up, like it starts
Yeah.
ripping again, and then people
Like
get
I can
complacent.
see it. Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
think we've got into that complacency. I'm not gonna lie. It does feel very like toppy right now. Like in the past, it was like okay, like the numbers were showing, right? Like the companies they were looking cheap. But then all of a sudden, it's like you start looking and it's like okay, like there's a lot of promises. And obviously, if they deliver, we continue to be cheap right now, but they
Yeah.
have to deliver. So then you start putting a lot of ifs, and the valuation, the prices need valuations to catch up, and that's the scary bit here. I mean, like this is being called one of the most hated rallies in the stock market because it's like almost like nobody saw it sort of coming. It's like it
Yeah.
was just like if you stayed in the market or you bought the dip, you somewhat got rewarded for it, right?
Yeah.
But everything is sort of like signaling, like the dashboard is filled with yellow lights, but it's still nothing has broken yet. And it's like the economy continues to be resilient, the consumer continues to be resilient, even though there is some damages there. So I mean, yeah, it's been insanity, like in the past month alone, just the returns, because it's like also the fact that it's been since April, like it was May, and like it's just been a month of just straight up day after day. I think we have done 9 weeks of straight up more momentum in the stock market, in the
Yeah.
in technology, in semis. It's like insane.
It's crazy. It's scary.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
okay, let me address some of the questions in the chat. Okay, so first, let's go back to Bitcoin because I want to get Adrian's take too, because I know he's got it. Like he has some things. I bought some Bitcoin, Adrian, by the way.
Nice.
So, Mimi, when do you think a potential, like in the bear case scenario, right? The
In the
40
bear case.
case for you. When do you think this could become?
Well, old me would actually laugh at this answer. So it would be end of year. It would be end of year. So quarter four. That's again, old me would hate this answer too. But if you're not following the 4 year cycle right now, I mean, like you can only use that as a gauge. I think it will visit. If it, I can't say time frame. It's really hard to say time frame. It's
Like,
more.
I get you. I don't want to hold you. I don't want to hold you to a time
Yeah.
frame because I know that people can like sometimes take it as investment advice, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
expecting, like, if it was to play out, it would be
Yeah.
at some point from here till the
Yeah.
end of the year, right?
Yeah.
So we
But
could potentially continue to go lower.
yeah, if the previous bear market lasted a year, then we would say October. We would say September, October. But to say quarter four is safer. To say that it would go towards
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that's when I will
That's
look
fair.
at buying. But then I'd be very cautious because I would look at what the stock market is actually doing at that time. You know, what is when we reach quarter four and say Bitcoin has capitulated and it's gone to certain targets, 30, 40K, 50K, whatever. Let's see where is the S&P? Where is the conflict in the Middle East? Look at macro. How's the data? How's jobs? How's inflation? Energy crisis. Those are the things that I'm sure we'll obviously talk about at Market Buzz, but those are the things to watch when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, and how this sort of plays out, because that's also something that we've been talking in the last couple of episodes, is just how, like, because a lot of people have been calling the AI bubble, right? But I don't think it's a bubble. I think it's a wave. It's a capex wave, and we're just seeing how that capex wave is sort of like how that money's moving through the economy, which has been super interesting because everybody assumes that all of the money is going to come in tomorrow, but the reality is that you have to build. There is infrastructure. There's real companies behind
Yeah.
all of this move, so it becomes very interesting. Okay. I want to get your take on Bitcoin and the crypto markets, Adrian, as well, because yes,
Sure.
I want to know. I want to understand.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
also, let me just answer this really quickly. In terms of Broadcom is down almost 15% today. I think it's three things happening. It's de-risking from tomorrow's data. Is the fact that semis, like just the fact that the data was not perfect and there was like negative sentiment towards the stock. I don't like Broadcom personally. I don't like it because it's like it's the cheap. It's like the way that I see it, and in my brain I could be wrong, but the way that I've always seen Broadcom is the main competitor to Nvidia's chip and business, and I just think that Nvidia's better. So that's been the part. But then yeah, and then in terms of Palo Alto and all of the software plays, I think software will have its moment. I don't think it's just yet. I think it will come in the next couple of weeks to months. So I'm starting to position myself Microsoft, CRM, now. All of these different companies,
Yeah.
software is very interesting. So something to pay attention to, Adi. Yeah. All right, Adrian, give me your take. I'm listening. I need to go check that my house is not burning.
no worries. Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing right now, it's been expected. In a standard 4-year cycle, you have obviously your initial decline where the world's on fire, everything's gonna end. Bitcoin will not recover. Then you have your bear market relief rally, which we had. Usually it either goes to the 21-week MA or it goes to the 200-day MA. This time around, just like every single previous cycle, it went to the 200-day moving average. Right? We actually, I mean, you can go back to some of the sessions we had previously at Market Buzz, and we were talking about this very thing 4, 5, 6 months ago, that it was likely that it was going to hit the 200-day moving average. Now, at that point, it was like, in the high 80s, 90s. Now it's, I think like it's dropped down to like probably 80, 79K. So not surprising to see this dip. If you also look at the structure, I have the chart up there, but it's the same bear flag pattern where you have continues going up, and then suddenly a big drop, which is again pretty standard in bear markets. Most of the time in bear markets, you actually go up, slightly up, you just grind higher and higher and higher until you don't, and then when you don't, everybody just freaks out. The selling starts until you find at that support level. Right now, I actually thought we were going to find some support at 70K. So I was surprised to have seen it drop all the way down to the low 60s, which tells me that we're probably going to go much lower later on. Now, if somebody were to ask me, hey, I don't have any Bitcoin, I don't have any crypto invested, should I invest now? At this point, it depends, right? I actually put in some buys, futures, long. Again, that's trading, right? Because I think there's going to be even a small jump or bounce from here. So I'm trying to take advantage of that. I mean, I have been short in the market since it went above 75K, and I closed all my short positions. I also closed all my shorts on MSTR, which was a great easy play from 170, 180. Short it from there. But I see as either a bounce from here, probably retest the 70K level, or we just chop sideways for another 2 to 3 weeks, and then we see a further decline down. But in the grand scheme of things, we're getting to the point where it's getting close to the end of the bear market. We probably have another, I would say, 4 months at least, say 3 to 5 months in that range. But we either see a market cycle low in July. If we follow the 60-day cycles, we just started a new cycle, or we're actually finishing the declining part of a previous 60-day cycle. So we're getting ready to start the next one, which will put us around an end of July timing band for another 60-day cycle. Now, we could go up, remain in the 65, 70,000 range, and then drop back down to 60K and have 60K be the low, or potentially a lower low at the end of July. I'm thinking somewhere like 52K is the next level that I'm looking at. If that's not the market cycle low, then we have another 60-day cycle, which puts us August, September. So that's the October timeframe that everybody's thinking. I actually think it probably happens before October, and people are just going to front run it. Again, it also depends on the stock market, what the stock market is doing. I also think that we're going to see a correction in the stock market in fall of this year. But yeah, it's either basically end of July, between 50 to 60K, we see a decline, or we take that a little bit further down the line, and I could see going as low as 40K, but I wouldn't hold my breath to buy at 40K. I think anywhere between 40 to 60K, those are really good long-term buys if you're planning to hold for a couple of years at least.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you remember my Duma level?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like almost like you guys talked before the episode.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to Adrian in ages.
I know. But
yeah, I know.
It's very similar.
What were your levels?
No, because
Literally.
Adrian and I we've always had like the same view of where everything is kind of going. So we're very, very similar traders, and yeah, that's why. You pretty much said almost everything that I said before, but I have a Duma view, and I shared this with you ages ago. 32K, 32K, give or take, was my Duma view, because I've got optimistic, realistic, and Duma. Optimistic is 50 to 60, realistic is 40 to 50, and Duma is 30 to 40. And 32K, there's a reason why specifically it's just like there's a lot of confluence there, a few things. But in terms of like the fib levels, the previous bear markets have always gone back to 78.6. So around about there. And that's still like less of a drop than it was a previous bear market if it goes to the 30s. But anyway, who knows? That's just me just talking shit.
One of my conspiracy theories, and something I've kind of been talking about for since the bear market started, is potentially how MSTR, or them selling a significant amount of Bitcoin, could be that catalyst, that trigger to push us down. Because I think we'll need some sort of catalyst to attribute to, this is why we dropped all the way down to 30K or 40K, whatever that low might be. We saw Sailors sell, I think he only sold like 52 Bitcoins or something like that, right? But I
heard there is a 2 in there somewhere.
At a loss.
32, 52, yeah.
It's gonna be interesting now that we have Bitcoin in the low 60s. Is he buying or selling, right? Because he was buying at 70, he was buying, I think, closer to the 80,000 mark. So now is he going to be selling a significant amount? I'm talking about thousands of Bitcoin, because that's going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to remove that buy pressure that MSCR was buying billions of dollars in Bitcoin every week, right? So that's gone. And it's potentially could add that selling pressure just from the market dynamics perspective, not even the narrative around it. But that's a sign, that's a signal that you're sending the market. that, hey, I'm Saylor, I'm pro Bitcoin all the way, all in, but I have to sell Bitcoin because I got to pay my dividends or whatever else he needs to pay as far as his operations. So I think that that potentially could be something. I think he can withstand a quick dip to lower levels, but a sustained drop in Bitcoin, and if it remains, let's say, at 60K for a while, he's gonna have to find a way to come up with that money to pay dividends. And remember, we have inflation going up, rates are still high, so he can't just go get cheap money anymore. But that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's some sort of catalyst in addition to potentially, the all the issues from the supply chain that's going to break at some point from the basically shock to the oil derivatives. That's going to start. We're going to start seeing the impacts of that more directly, I guess, in the next 2 to 3 months, and then that's going to ramp up because these things take a long time to take effect, right? If you go back to when we had COVID, right? Money printing, money printing, money printing. Everything was great. Market was up. We've recovered. Great. And then a year later, it's like, oh, we have inflation at 9%. So these things
Yeah.
take time to play out and takes time to
Yeah.
take effect throughout the entire supply chain.
Yeah, like sometimes we think that it's like it's quicker. It's instantaneous, the effects. The market seems to think so because it prices it in instantaneously. Right? Whenever, for example, like the oil prices going up, it was the first thing that went up. Oil almost at 120. We're sitting with oil right now. It's sitting at 193, and we still have a blockade. We still have the shutdown in the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, we've shuffled a
I
little
thought we
bit
had a
of
deal.
oil. Well, we've had a deal
We
for
had
the
a deal
past.
for the deal, but the deal
Yeah,
is gonna be the deal.
yeah. But then we signed the deal
It's
that was
what
about to talk about the deal and how we were going to address the terms of the deal. Yeah, for sure. It's been crazy. It's been crazy to follow
there was
along and just
there was a day
yeah,
a bet
yeah.
on
Go ahead.
Polymarket that if like it was like 90% chance that we had a deal at the end of June, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then that dropped to like I don't know, like 10% overnight. So
Yeah.
if you
Like
took the
20
flip
something
side of
percent or
that,
something. Yeah.
yeah,
It's been crazy. It's been crazy just to hear it, and like all of a sudden you hear and it's like, oh, we're about to sign the deal, so everybody gets euphoric, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're gonna maybe sign the deal, and like we're talking about the potential of sending the deal to the other side. It's like, what is happening here? It's just been so I wouldn't even say confusing because at this point, like it's the same playbook, right? Like it was the same playbook
yeah.
as the tariff. It's like we're talking about talking about the deal with all of the different countries, and we're still up to this day. We still have the tariffs that are being discussed, and there's changes and there's things. It just doesn't go away, right? Like it's just like this is the Trump effect at play, you know?
Yeah.
It's reality
I mean,
TV.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I really, I, we all hope there is peace. We all hope this is over, but I've been analyzing this war since it began, and even till now, and I just don't see it ending. And I hate saying that. And I hope that on one of the streams, I'm gonna come on and be like, hey, guess what? I actually think it's going to end. And who knows? Like it's just my opinion. But I just don't think this war is going to end. Like I think he's just bitten off way too much than he can chew. This is not about the US and Iran alone. There are other like factors and moving parts to it, and it's not just about oil. Like it's just there are so many. Like we could get into somewhat conspiracy territory, but there's like religion that's another layer to this, and the psychological layer of how Iran is like, and what their ideologies as well. It's just not as simple, and I just don't think that it's going to end anytime soon.
Like I'm in the camp that they're close to sign the terms for the terms of the discussion that they're gonna have. I think that they're gonna sign something because he
Yeah. Okay.
needs to sign something. What I'm scared is that he loses the midterms and then starts a forever war in order for him not to be affected by other people, and like, because he's vengative. Like Trump is a vengative guy. So I just don't know. Like I don't know how it plays out, but right now I'm hopeful. Right, like he's already talking about the Ayatollah in somewhat decent manners, right? Which gives me a little bit of hope that at least that rhetoric is starting to change, right? And he's like, look, like he's talking to Netanyahu, and he's like, yo, what are you doing, dude? Stop it, like like he got angry with the guy, right? So it's like all of a sudden we're seeing Lebanon, and we'll have to see how long that lasts. But yeah, I mean, we are seeing sort of Trump wanting to get this done quickly, right? The only time I get worried is when I go.
You got to look at the incentives that each side has, right? So if I'm Iran, what are my incentives? Well, survival, right? If I'm in power, I've been in power for so long, I'm not gonna just go away. What's gonna happen to the Iranian leadership, right? If they give up. One thing that this conflict has actually done for Iran, it has created credibility to that Iranian regime, because now you have, the leaders of the world, negotiating, sitting at the same level, the same table as the Iranian regime. So for them, it's, in a way, it's win. Do they really care about their people if there's no, humanitarian supplies, right?
Not at all.
If there's no food, no. The Iranian regime in power, they don't care. They have all their means to go get their stuff elsewhere, right, and cover their needs. They don't care. So to them, it's like, well, we either give up our nukes, and we give up power, and we look foolish. Why are we gonna do that? Yeah, go ahead, blockade it. There's still ships that go by it. They have the rail that kind of bypasses that. So they don't have that much of an incentive to say, yeah, let's make a deal. I think Trump has more of an incentive, but even then, the reason we had this ceasefire was because he couldn't continue striking Iran. He had 60 days. After that, he requires Congress approval. Now he said, oh, it's a ceasefire. So it paused, right? Now I can resume if I need to. And hey, they're not attacking. It's just defensive strikes.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very political. Trump also has the market basically just watching every move, every tweet he makes. And
everything.
It's kind of silly because he posts one thing and then market is up 2% in one day. Only semiconductors, because that's the other thing. If you look at the market, most stocks are actually down or flat, but it's just the AI capex play that's really pumping and pumping and pumping, and it's overbought, but it can remain overbought for a long time, right? The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid.
Yeah.
It's interesting just because I'm looking at, for example, S&P, like looking at the SPY, right? Like I'm just looking at the SPY, just an ETF. Now, this could be for many different reasons, but I'm looking at volume, daily volume. Daily volume is so low. Like historically, we are so low under that. Like it takes so little money to move the markets right now that it just feels that people don't want to sell because there's a deal coming, but also they don't want to buy because there's a deal coming. And then if you didn't buy at the dip, why would you buy now? But you also have to get in so it's like all of these different things that kind of create, because that's the thing. It's been an AI, not even an AI rally. I wouldn't even call it an AI rally. I call it like a CapEx semiconductor boom that we have seen. Like I don't call this like the AI bubble. I call this the CapEx wave. We're gonna see semiconductors. After semiconductors, we see energy, right? We see companies that are exciting, like the companies that are building all of this infrastructure. I think we had some data yesterday that shows that actually construction in America is booming because of all of the data centers, right? Mm-hmm. So then what comes next? It's like, okay, all of a sudden you're going to have the data centers being built out. You have to be first to market in order to capitalize on the consumers because they have a massive backlog. They're going to be able to supply that backlog. So you're going to see sort of the Mag 7 and the hyperscalers increased drastically in their revenues. And I wonder if that converts into profits. Right? How much profits? Like, are you willing to charge cheap or are you willing to charge a lot? Because we are now seeing the price of tokens increase in the AI models, right? So all of a sudden, this is starting to play out. Now, software is next. There will be winners and there will be losers here. Who would win where and what? That's something that hopefully you can decipher, but it's like, it's been so...
I think it's pretty straightforward, honestly. Obviously at a high level and analyzing a lot. But in terms of software, like take for example companies like Monday, right? They do the whole basically workflows, agile tools and tools for like small to medium businesses. Things that right now it takes you maybe like 10, 15 minutes on Claude Code to rebuild the entire
Yeah.
application. Those companies, they're gonna go away. Or if they don't like revamp themselves in a different way, they're just gonna go away. Why am I going to pay, hundreds, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars as a small and medium company to have
Yeah.
something that I can pay a $20 subscription and build in a week, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those software applications, they're just gonna go away if they don't revamp. Now, the enterprise level, there's a lot more stickiness in that market, like things like IBM with their all their enterprise suite, Oracle, SAP. Those are things that companies, large companies, are not just gonna wake up one day and say, "Hey, we're gonna buy code or whole enterprise software,"
Yeah.
right? So they're
And
they're
then
gonna have to basically
yeah,
path the way.
like the
And
cost
there's a lot of
of
AI
doing
being
something wrong is
embedded.
high.
Yes, exactly. I
Like
mean,
the
if
cost
you
of
look at
getting
airlines
something
and
wrong.
banks, they're using systems from like the 1980s. So,
Dude, floppy disks were used until like 2013, I think, or some crazy number like
I
that.
use them. I use them. Okay,
Right?
so
It's like so it's like like the American
to this
government was still
day,
using floppy disks for a
yeah,
while. It's like insane. So it's like, man, I swear, it's
yeah,
like I think it's like obviously like there is some risk. I just don't see that it's that. I don't think it's that much, right? Like I have started putting positions on Microsoft, IGV, what's it called, the CRM. Now I want to set
even
up a position
Google's
there.
looking decent.
Google. Did you see they've gone down just because they're diluting a little bit. They're asking for like 84 billion. So
Yeah.
no.
the market wants, yeah, Nico,
But
stop it.
I mean, I think there's some sleepers right now. I think at some
Yeah,
point the market is going to like correction,
What?
but still, what's
yeah.
his take on the Iran conflict?
Situation.
Well, he thinks, right? Like everybody should just go on a walk, relax, right? Like maybe take a piss outside, right? And then come down. Just come back to come back inside and rest. Maybe that's why everybody's so cranky.
Yeah.
How you doing? But yes.
But yeah, but
So
I mean,
yeah. Oh, Mimi, go.
I mean, like in terms of software, like software is not going to die out. It's just going to evolve, and I can't really pick software stocks right now. So I bought the ETF instead.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just buying the software ETFs, and that's probably a safer bet. And I'm up right now, but in terms of which will survive, a lot will die out
It's
because of
difficult.
AI, but some will evolve and do really well. So
Yeah.
it's difficult to
I
pick.
mean, I heard this quote from Billionaire Investors podcast. Put random name here, but it was like AI is broken down into three things, right? It's a data set with data analysis, or like it's a data set with it's a data set with compute plus LLM. That's it, right? That is what AI is being defined as right now. The reality is that these companies, if they didn't build their data sets before, they're building their data sets today. They have access to all of the customers, the customers' data. Maybe they don't have access directly, but they do have something. They have that data. And if they are able to get that data, which is the same thing I said about Google, was that people were scared of Google search ending. And it was like, you think that they don't know how to grab all that data and put it to work? Create an LLM model, figure out what you want. Because at the end of the day, it's just, I want to keep you using this product. So same with software here. I just think that it's funny that we think that random people on the street are going to be able to monetize AI, but the big companies with billions of dollars and massive knowledge of developers and innovators that are already hired and deploying software are not going to be able to use this software to deploy solutions here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that's next. I think that's next. I think that's the next part of the cycle. I don't think that we sort of ended the semiconductor sort of boom rally, but I think the prices are getting ahead of themselves and they have to prove themselves. Like
Yeah.
it's going to end up happening like Nvidia for the rest of the semiconductor space, where all of a sudden you get an Nvidia that rallies like crazy, but then after earnings doesn't do anything and it just consolidates between two prices, because all of a sudden it's like you need so much capital in order to move a $5.5 trillion company. It's not the same as a $1 trillion or $1 billion company that you're just able to put another billion and quadruple the market cap of the company, right? So I wonder also, energy I'm paying full attention on. Like I did it, like I've freaking been talking about Fluence for so long. I've been talking about Fluence for so long, and I finally got redeemed. After the last earnings. They just had to say the one thing that every single company that's connected to AI has to say: we have deals with hyperscalers. I don't care if the deals are cut, you just need to say it, and boom, company doubles in a day. Almost.
Yeah.
It's insane, right?
Have you seen Bloom Energy?
Man,
Bloom
I'm still
Energy.
so salty. I'm not in it. I'm still not in it. I'm
We
waiting.
were both
but
talking about it. Adrian was talking about it too.
I know.
I bought more.
Like I
I
did.
bought more like a few weeks ago, and it went back up again. So
Yeah, I'm out
How is it
completely.
doing today?
But 287. It's flat today.
yeah. Now,
Actually,
Bloom is
that's
gonna
down
do
3%
well long
pre-market.
term. Bloom is going to do so well long term. But yeah.
Now the question is at what price
But
do
it's
you
what
get back in?
it's 10x, 13x in the past year.
But the thing is like it is, but all of a sudden, if you start seeing, for example, like that was one of the things with Fluence. Fluence gross margin is 11%. If we double on gross margins, it's a company that already has so much sales. Like I think, like Fluence has more sales than Bloom Energy, according to the data that I'm looking at. I think Fluence has like 3 billion in sales. Right. So it's like all of a sudden, if we see those increasing sales and then we see those increasing gross margins just because of the demand coming in, which is the reason that Micron pumped the way that it did. If we all of a sudden see this demand come in and you're just able to like say, okay, for the next 2 years, you're going to pay me this much in order to get whatever, like all of my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's
I mean, the demand is real. Like I think we're actually underestimating the productivity gains that we're gonna get from AI. Like we've barely even touched the surface because it's mostly tech, like tech companies and tech adjacent companies that are implementing AI aggressively, right? So we really haven't, and they haven't implemented fully to its full potential,
correct.
right? You have things like banking, in finance, in utility space, basically industries that are very slow. That whatever we're seeing in tech right now and over the past 2 years, we're gonna see in those industries in the next 5 years, 10 years, right? And that's gonna be a massive pump in productivity overall, which is going to benefit all the companies in the space. The GDP, I think, is gonna start growing. It's going to accelerate in the next few years. So that I think, although I do see a correction this year, it will be like a V-shaped recovery. It's going to be a crash, and it might not even be that significant, and then off we go. And that should be aligned with also a crypto market correction. But
Yeah.
again, I do think obviously the market is pricing the future as they should, but I think they're getting a little bit ahead of themselves. We need some sort of correction, bring it back down, and then we also need to see this productivity gains be reflected in other companies outside of that infrastructure space, right? We need to see some software companies start getting some higher earnings, and other companies in other industries see those productivity gains.
Like I think one sector, I think one whole sector that's going to benefit drastically is going to be banks, right? Like if you look at JP Morgan's price to earnings, like we're talking about price to earnings today is 15, and they're expected to go future PE ratios to 12. But what if all of a sudden you can automate a lot of the customer service jobs? If you can sort of
Yep.
systematize all of these things with AI to a point where it's actually super reliable, because that's another thing. Like one of the problems I was talking about is just the reliability of these softwares cannot be fully implemented right now because one error can cost you trillions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So you can't do that. But if you're able to implement it in such a way and keep the safeties, which we're slowly seeing sort of security and cybersecurity take that lead, we could then see these companies starting to like increase them. They're potentially seeing JP Morgan with technology multiples, right? 2025, because there will be software companies that just have the back end ready to be resolved. So it's been super interesting to kind of pay attention to. I also think, right, because a lot of people tell you it's the cost is massive, we're not going to be able to pay for it. The cost is massive, we're not going to be able to pay for it. And the problem is, and I had this idea, and I'm going to share it here, and I don't know how this is going to age. I hope it ages well, but this was a thought that I like had, which was a lot of people are looking at the cost of this because this is historic. We've never spent this amount of money in a new technology, in this new sort of like euphoric new thing that's going to make us so much better. But the reality is that if the productivity is, let's say, 10x of whatever we're spending, the cost is going to be minimal, right? You don't think about the cost of electricity when I'm trading and I'm making 1,000x of what my energy costs are, right? Because if all of a sudden we're able to get these things, and obviously we're going to see the costs rise up, but then they're going to level up somewhat. And if the productivity comes with that, we're able to actually like get a return on this investment, right? Because for example, like ChatGPT, like is ChatGPT perfect? No. If I hired somebody off the street, like an apprentice or something, this person would not be perfect either. And could that person get better? Could I get better at using the tool in order to develop that? And what is the cost to me right now? I understand that they're giving it to me at a very low price for $20. But all of a sudden, it's like, how much am I willing to pay, right? Like if I was to hire somebody that can potentially leave, that can potentially do all these other things, I just have to pay them how much? Like
what's the differential of the rate of learning, right? Are you able to teach an AI agent faster than a human being, right?
Yes.
And then all of them learn the same thing. So it's like if you're able to see this, you're just able to share that knowledge and all of them learn. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing I like. It's like all of a sudden it's like, am I the best at using AI? No, 100% no, right? Like I use AI like 90% of people. But then I have a little bit of quirks that I know how to use in order to develop new things. And that thing has just taken so much time. It's just saved me so much time that I don't have to worry. Like I go back to my taxes. The first time I did my taxes, I had to learn the whole system. It took me 4 months to understand it. Right? I can finish the same amount of work in a week.
Yeah.
And using AI, the data analysis and all that stuff, I can put down to like a couple of minutes. It's insane, right? So there is productivity, there is benefits here.
Definitely.
It's just like, but yeah, obviously when you start looking at numbers like the hyperscalers have, right? When you start talking trillions of dollars spent in this new infrastructure, that could get outdated really quickly. It's scary.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, sorry.
Go.
Look, I see what you're saying there, right? I have a different view, sort of. To say that, of course we haven't spent this amount of money on new technology ever in the history of humankind. We kind of have. There's been similar eras where there's been a lot of spending on tech that was like revolutionary, whether it's like the railroads, it's I think electricity as well, and also the .com era. The thing is, it's not that we didn't need that technology. It still changed our lives completely, but I think it was just still very early, and that's what why people talk about a bubble. And it's not that we don't need AI. We still needed the internet. It's changed everything, and it increased productivity. But the bubble still burst because there was just so much. There's just so much hype at the time, and we still needed railroads, but they still built it like way too early. Or do you know what I mean? Like it's more the argument there. It's just that it's still the same pattern. Obviously, there's more money put into it, but then again, the world's different these days as well. There's just more liquidity as well. So I guess that's the other side of the argument. It's just that I do see that view. I do see that we're just very early and everyone's too hyped up about it. And at some point, the bubble does need to burst. But AI is going to change everything. We need it. Yeah.
Like
Hundred
the thing
percent.
is for me, I don't see it as a bubble. I don't see it as a bubble. I'm just saying, like these companies are spending their cash flow, and it's like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
going into debt to do this, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't disregard that, but also this companies print so much money. They could just cut this. Like, let's say, for example, they don't see the benefits they need to. They could just stop spending, and they still have massive businesses on the back end that are producing stuff, that are making stuff, that are actually generating cash flow, right? So even in that sense, I like if you know, it's
But
like that's where I see it. That's what I'm.
but Nestor, the thing is like that's pricing in future and continued growth at these rates. That's a problem. Like I do think at some point, like just to give you an example, a lot of companies, tech companies, they initially had like leaderboards, for example, of who's using the most tokens, right? They were pushing out, hey, incentivizing their employees to use these models, use all these AI tools, and now two things are happening. One, they're starting to realize, wait, I just kind of laid off 10, 20% of my workforce, but now I'm spending the same amount of money on token usage.
Yeah,
What are we doing here? Right? And that's one thing. I think we're going to see companies become a little bit more responsible, let's say, in their token usage. That also has implications from like the environmental side of things. Like once we get into once the kind of Trump era is over, and potentially we get a Democratic president, then there's going to be another shift to like the environmental things, and you're going to start seeing things like, well, you have to track your carbon emissions from AI usage and so on. Right. So I think we're going to see a trend where companies are going to become more responsible on how they use their token. At the same time, I think models are going to become a lot more efficient
hundred
on
percent.
how they spend those tokens, right? And we're seeing that right now. Like right now, if you notice, the jump from the first ChatGPT model to a second one, to a third one, to a fourth one, those were massive jumps, even in the past 6 months. I've been just been headfirst in like coding using AI tools. From Claude 4.6 to 4.7, it wasn't really an update. From 4.7 to 4.8, that was a big jump. So we're getting to a point where it's like, okay, every new model is not that much better than the previous one. So there's diminishing returns there. And that
Yeah,
also has to do with that what data you have available to train those models. Like you have to continue synthesizing data using AI. So you're kind of feeding it itself, but at some point that reduces the amount of learning and the amount of optimizations you can do with those models. And you shift to, okay, how can I make this model do the same task, but do it faster and spend less energy figuring it out,
yeah.
right? So
But
I
the thing
think
is,
we're
it's
gonna
like,
see that, right?
but I want more. It's like the problem is like, for example, I don't want like, it's like if you make it more efficient, I'm just gonna throw more all I have to the more efficient model. So it's like for me, it's like, for example, because one of the things that Zuckerberg says, right? He's like, okay, like right now we can remember about like a month of whatever conversations we've had with you, but we want to be able to remember like 10 years. So it's like we're still so far away from where we want to be. So it's like this is just like the latest thing that shows a bit of promise to kind of get us there, right? But for me, it's like even Google, like Google just said that they're gonna increase capex next year. So it's like everybody's like, oh, maybe they will stop. But I don't like. I'm right now. I'm not seeing it. And it's like, for example, I think analysts are saying that the capex cycle should peak by 28. I disagree. I disagree because by 28 we're going to build the infrastructure that is going to allow us to build on the next infrastructure, and we don't know what that is. Like could be the
Yep.
self-driving cars with modular servers in different cities in order to make sure that all the cars are driving together. Robotics, having a server in your house that is able to compute all of the different things. So how does this play out? Like I don't fully know, but I do like what we're building, and I like the productivity gains that I see, at least for my business. So it's like that's why I invest in semis here, because it's like I am seeing not only obviously like semis, not AI, but the companies are like, they want to invest, and I'm like, suck. If you want to give me your money, like, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. By the way, we're a minute away from the market open. Let's
Yeah.
just let's have a look here. Let's just lift through the market open. I'm kind of scared. I don't know. Like, usually when I'm this panicky, because it's such a small drop, but I don't like it. I didn't like it yesterday.
We're like up 20% in the last 2 months. I think with like a 2% drop is fine. Yeah.
I know it, but the thing what I didn't like was like how the sentiment shifted. Like, I've been waiting for this sentiment to shift slowly, but it hasn't. And all of a sudden, yesterday was like 4 different things happening. So I was like, I just didn't like it. I felt weird yesterday. It wasn't like I've been saying. It's funny because I go back and it's like, people ask me, it's like, should we sell? And I'm like, not yet, not yet. No, but I have been selling.
sold.
Like, I've been trimming. I've been trimming all throughout. Like, the past week and a half has been just like, yeah, well, thank you very much for another 5%.
I think I think definitely, well, the semis and S&P overall still has room to go. There'll be a slight
Market open,
slight
market
correction, a slight correction, but I just think there's still room to go. We might not see the complete crash or heavier pullback until maybe towards the end of the year, potentially even next year. I would these days, I really gauge just sentiment on X, because whatever everybody says, just do the opposite, because they're never right. They're never right. They're somewhat right, and they're like, yeah, we called it. I'm like, nope, that wasn't it. And then
Nope, not yet.
nope,
Not yet.
nope.
The thing is like, if it's crazy, because if we get this, like, this has been like the semiconductor bubble has been one of the most, like, how long we've been calling bubble on AI for how long now?
A year?
And it's
2, 3.
like since ChatGPT. It's like it's
Since
been. It
ChatGPT.
almost feels. And then all of a sudden, it's like we see the rally in semis, and it's like they already
But
were high.
the question is how long the previous bubbles, how long were people calling those for? And I think it was around about 2 years, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's gonna be
I-
so tricky. Like, it's funny. Like, I like it. Like, looking at this chart right there, I love this. Right? Like, this looks so healthy. It's like we're just a broadening of the rally. We're moving into safety. Walmart is up. Microsoft found a bid. Right? We have Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan finding a bid here. Oil actually down, which is interesting. Here, let's have a look at prices here. Right? Oil down today, 3% WTI and Brent 2.8. Right? Bitcoin bouncing off the lows. Not so much. Well, hopefully it bounces.
It is bouncing from today, yeah. It
Right?
visited 61K around about there. Yeah, I think, yeah, one question for Adrian is just like, I just have this feeling that there might be like one more FOMO rally. There might
Yeah.
be one more FOMO rally before it just yeah, there's just the next leg down, and then it just goes sideways. We can never
I think so.
predict
It-
yeah.
It's not gonna be strong as the one we just saw, because that was like the main. Usually we have one main relief rally where everybody's like, "Oh, we're still back. Let's jump back into alts. We're going to
Yeah.
10x from here," and then
Yeah.
boom, in like a matter of like days,
Yeah.
right? And that it's just funny because obviously I'll make fun of like perma bulls that are always like, "Yeah, see, I told you we're at 80K now." It's like, yeah, you're right around the 2K mark. You're gonna drop from here, and then boom. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think, I mean, if you look again, going back to this cycle, if you look at where we're in the declining phase. It's not as clear cut right now because I thought we had a bottom, and then we continue going down. So I'm not sure if this could either be a still with a declining phase, that's like my base case, or it's a new cycle that has already broken, which I don't think that's accurate. But yeah, I think my base case is that we bounce from here, potentially go back to 70K-ish, around there, and then we have the proper final crash either in, like I said, end of July or somewhere in September, October.
Yeah.
Uh, have
Also,
you, so Nestor, you bought some. Maybe have
I
you
bought
bought
some.
any crypto at all?
No, no. I'm not buying
Okay.
until I will consider it when we visit 50K, but then again, I'll have to reassess everything, and then I'll let you guys know on the stream. Like, when I buy, I'll let everyone know. But right now, no, I just don't. I don't see it yet. It has. I don't think it's bottomed.
Nestor, what about
But
you?
yeah,
what Bitcoin? Like I'm
Got
putting my
you.
position. You know what it was? You know what it was? Like the UK tax year. It's a fun one because it finishes in April. So I sold my Bitcoin in April, and because I was losing money, and then I haven't made anything. I bought some on my tax-free savings account, right? And I just like transfer the thing, and I'm still losing money there. Uh, but then like I wanted to buy at 60. I wanted to buy at 60, and I got a chance to buy in the 60s, and I like that. And if it goes to 50s, like I was waiting for the 50s last time, and it didn't get there, and I was just like crap, you know. So like if it
Yeah.
gets there, I'm like super happy. Like I'll buy some more. Like I understand. Like I'm from Venezuela. I understand what the value of Bitcoin is. You know, I don't trust currencies, so I see it there. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. I don't. Like I'm okay with it going to zero because it's like it's a hedge. For me, it's a hedge. Like obviously in the past couple of months, it hasn't been a hedge against nothing, you know. But it's like I don't mind it. Like I'm kind of happy. Like so, it's like I'm in that camp right now where it's
Yeah.
yeah,
like it'll be
And,
okay.
and I
It'll
mean,
be okay.
if you're not a trader, buying even at this level, like in a couple years, it's not gonna matter if you bought at 64,000 or 54,000, right? It's not gonna matter in the grand scheme of things. Just if you buy right now, you just know that you're likely going to have to hold for at least a year before you see significant gain, really from that, and probably 2 years, 2 to 3 years to see gains where it's like, oh, damn, this was a good investment. I would say right now the trickiest thing is again, and I'm sounding like a broken record. Is every time I go in this stream, I kind of trash on alts, but it's because I'm trying to protect people from losing their money, right? I've been saying this since December, actually earlier than that, last year, like September, October of last year. Don't go into alts. Like they've already dropped so much, and they've actually held up pretty well
yeah,
over in this drop. But what happened is people don't just believe, okay, this is it, and then they kind of realize what's going on, and then they dump their alts after the fact. If you look at the dominant, it actually dropped to another support level. I think it's like at 57, 58% now. That's
yeah,
going to go back up. Don't think that, oh, this is like some sort of all season, like reverse all season in the bear market. That does not happen,
yeah,
right? So just be very careful. If you're going to buy something in the crypto space, stick to Bitcoin. That's being proven long term that that's the asset that retains its value. And you can't wait it out for an all 2 3 years for it to possibly make a new all-time high. If you want to do that, go with Bitcoin. That's kind of the safest play in the crypto space if you're ready to make that long-term investment.
yeah.
Let me ask you, because this is what we do in this podcast. What's on your desk? Like, give me a name and tell me why we should keep looking at it. You
Okay.
know, Mimi,
In the
go
crypto
nuts.
space,
Whatever you want,
Anything.
whatever you're seeing value, right? Like whatever you're paying attention to. It's usually what's on your desk. Ba, ba, da, ba. So, Mimi, you want to go first?
Well, a few. I would say like more so sectors. Firstly, sectors like obviously energy and also software, but I can't say specifically what.
But do you mean energy like oil or energy like energy production? Because in the
Energy
S&P they get it
production.
wrong. Okay. I
Yeah.
wanted to make that
So
because I think because you mean the
yeah.
Bloom energies, the
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Yes. Like solar. You know, like it's solar,
I
bloom
like
energy.
solar.
Yes, I
I
know
like
you do.
solar.
Yeah. Um,
I love solar.
but obviously bloom energy has been on my radar for a really long time. Everybody knows that. Um, I not right now, but I am. What's piqued my interest, of course, is obviously space stocks, right? but it's very dangerous to get into that right now. It's so volatile.
I'm buying one share of SpaceX.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
And I don't care what it does. I'm just gonna buy it so my dad is happy and he doesn't tell me I told you so. Just in case,
Yeah.
it's an insurance against mental health.
Now,
That's
in terms of crypto, I never thought I'd actually bring this up right now because I know where we're at in terms of the cycle. But just, with altcoins, I agree, Adrian. I agree with that. Got to be really careful. Look, there will be some altcoins, of course, that will do well. If people really want to look at that, then look at the ones that, of course, that have been battle tested. What's interesting, and I'm not saying buy now, but just look into it, everyone, is Stellar Lumens. I've had Stellar for a really long time, but recently Stellar's been making a run. I'm not saying buy now, because if Bitcoin isn't doing well, alts in general just won't do well. Stellar Lumens has been, this is not like a narrative thing, it's not like a huge hypey thing. They're partnered with like the DTCC, which is like the settlement layer for stock trading or stock investing. They're using Stellar Lumens XLM as the blockchain for tokenized securities, which is huge because tokenized securities is going to be a thing. So that's why XLM went up so much the past week. That's something that I would keep on everyone's radar and see how it develops. But I will only revisit altcoins and crypto when Bitcoin has bottomed. I'm not. Yeah.
So buy now.
Not buy.
So buy now. That's interesting. Okay, I'll put it up. All right.
Because it's actually being used for something. It's being used for tokenization of securities.
Yeah. Another good one is it's Hyper from Hyperliquid. And if you look at it, it's like
I just shorted
you
it.
shorted it?
I shorted
There's
it 2 days
beef.
ago. I shorted it. It's a trade. It's a trade. I shorted it 2 days ago. I would buy it.
And again,
maybe.
I'm not. Yes. I'm not saying buy now, but once you get to a point where like, okay, it's the time to start buying alts. Hype is one of the ones that I'm going to go very, very heavy on.
Yeah.
When we get to that point, because it has really used. It's been battle tested. It's been market tested. Like look at what's with Bitcoin dropping like 10%. It's kind of staying pretty strong, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I have no idea what any of these mean.
No, I will.
The other play on my desk, right? So I basically so I was calling for that March April crash, which we got, right? I shorted that, made money. Then I went long on the flip side. I basically got completely out halfway through this rally. So missed opportunity there, but I'm not mad about it. I was already up so much in the year that I basically just for the past like month and a half, 2 months, I've been like on the sidelines with mostly cash.
What? S&P?
On everything, on my trading portfolio, on everything.
Cool. Okay.
I haven't been as active. I haven't been on here for 2 months because I haven't really been moving. I just put everything on cash and been just hanging out, just watching the market just go up higher and higher and higher and higher. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna go in at this point.
Yeah.
And then also with the only play that I had was my crypto shorts, right, on Bitcoin, MSTR. But right now, I did go and I went into Bitcoin longs. I also took a gold trade. If you look, it's nearing that key support level that should bounce from. But that may be a shorter trade. I'm also in a long oil trade that I'm probably going to close to. And then other than that, I did take a SPY trade yesterday. Long. That's also going to be a very short-term trade because I'm playing the 40-day cycle in SPY. So I think this is a short-term, kind of little tiny correction in the 40-day cycle. It should ride up the 10-day moving average, and I mean it can go down for a couple of days, and then bounce back up and continue its rally. So that's a short-term trade. Long-term, nothing really has my attention right now. Everything's just overvalued. Potentially, software might be a good opportunity. But then still, if we get a larger stock market correction, that's also going to drop. So I'm kind of just doing shorter term trades at this point.
Mm.
I'm in the camp. I'm in the camp that we, well, we're seeing this sort of like move. The thing that scared me about the small dip, because this is small dip. In reality, it's a small dip on semis, right? Like if you, if you look at Micron, it's still over 1,000, right? Like obviously, like I was expecting a little bit of a correction beforehand. Like I was thinking we were gonna get to 800 at some point, and we just didn't do that. And then obviously, like the war and all this stuff gave that momentum. But now we're retesting that like psychological like $1,000 level here. But it's
Yeah.
so small. Like it's so little compared to where
Yeah.
we've been. Like we could touch 800 again. This is
Yeah.
very very strong possibility here. Like we
Yeah.
could, right? But I just because this is a wild horse. Like every single semiconductor right now, it's a wild horse. So it's very difficult to kind of like pinpoint whether this is gonna be like this is, but this is dropping crazy. Wow, I freaking knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. It was gonna retest.
I forgot.
It's
I
probably
forgot
gonna
to
retest the
mention.
950s.
I forgot to mention. In terms of what's on my desk, and I don't know why I didn't mention this, but fertilizer and food commodities is still on my desk. It's just that I
'Cause,
think
mean,
that play is going to take a few months to actually play out. Those trades are actually going
well,
to
it
make
has
take a
been.
while.
Like the thing is like we still closed. It's still
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah.
So it's like, man.
And
Like,
the other thing for me, like nobody really is talking about fertilizer. Until everybody starts to talk about fertilizer, it'll be up quite a bit, I think, and then I'll just get out of it.
like the way that, for example, I want to hear what you guys think. So, for example, like my oil take on this is that all of a sudden, whenever we get this sort of like hype about the war ending, we're gonna see oil drop massively because traders are just gonna pile into that trade, even though they're sort of in it already. They're gonna pile into that trade. We're gonna go under 80, and then that's gonna be the time to actually set a position, and then potentially, because I think that the price should be between 80 and
Yes.
90, right? Because we still have the damages. Like we're not producing in that whole area, right? So all of a sudden the wells are stopped. There's damages. There's a lot of things. Oh my goodness, market continues to go lower. Crap.
I mean, Nestor, on that I think that this year, like last year was like the silver trade and then gold trade. I think that was like the easiest thing to write up. Now the easiest trade, at least in the first half of this year, has been the oil trade because it's using this giant range, right? It went
Yeah.
from 7 to 120, then it goes to 80, then back to 110, and back to 90. Like it's using this range. I stopped playing it because the ranges keep getting smaller, smaller, so there's less of an opportunity. But yeah, every time there's like we have a deal, buy, because it drops.
Yeah.
So they don't have no deal, right? And every time we say, "Oh, we're never gonna get this, gonna get worse," that's probably when you get above 100 in that run, sell it. It's so easy, honestly. It's been like one of the easiest trade
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting for Trump to give me the confirmation at this point. It's been like he's been, man, listening to that,
To
listening to him. Is,
answer the
Well,
question.
Just
about-
wait 2 weeks. There's gotta be something. Like, we have a deal, and then oil
Just
drops.
Look, even if we have a deal, again, the damage is done, and so that's why I have my trades for fertilizer and food commodities.
No, it makes
Even if
sense.
even if there is a deal, right? And to answer the question, any specific companies for fertilizer, look, not financial advice, look into it because it has rallied quite a bit. CF Industries, and also Nutrien, which is Nutrien. Yeah, yes. CF Industries, I believe, uses Industries uses natural gas, needs natural gas, and Nutrien needs sulfuric acid, which is also something that China has also banned from exporting for now, because I think they're keeping it for themselves because the time for harvesting is coming, or planting or whatever it is, that phase, and they're keeping their fertilizer or production of fertilizer for themselves. And the thing we have to remember is that I can't believe I'm hyping up about fertilizer, but the reality is there are no fertilizer reserves. Of course, it's produced in other countries, but there are oil reserves. That's different.
Yeah.
But there are no fertilizer reserves. We've run
Well-
out. We've run out.
Yeah, you know what was funny? Have you ever seen the series The Farm with what's the guy from what's it called? The guy from Top Gear. He used to be in Top Gear, and
Jeremy
he's now
something.
Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So during COVID, during
Yeah.
COVID, he lost. I think he made $100 of running a farm for a whole year. His farm. He ran the farm for a whole year. He made $100. He
Okay.
made more money on the fertilizer he had just like stored.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made more money because it had like 4x. It was hilarious. It
Yeah.
was hilarious.
Damn.
So we could see that, like we could definitely see it happening. The one thing I would be scared of is just like I don't think like because for me it's like I would look at production and obviously I don't know enough. I don't know enough, right? But I would look at
Mm.
production and I would look at how long it would take for that production to stabilize and have for that production to then come back to normal in a sense, right? But I don't know how long it could take because the thing is usually when prices go up instantaneously, but when prices come
Yeah.
down, they take forever to come down,
Yeah.
right? Because then you're just
Ca-
Yeah.
there's no incentive to
Can we
produce.
unpack
So
that a little bit more? Because I want to understand. I agree on the outlook of fertilizer in general, but if I'm a producer, right, what I am missing is my input, right? Whatever that input in. Again, I'm not a scientist or anything, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what goes into it. So
you're
that's
not a
what I'm
farmer.
missing. So if I have a shortage on the input, it's
Yeah.
hurting me as a producer as well because I can't produce as much as I used to meet demand. So how
Mm.
am I mean, prices can go up, but at the end of the day, you're selling less, you have less revenue with possibly higher margins. And that's not even guaranteed unless you have secure as a producer long-term contracts of that supply, right? In
Mm.
which case you either get it at those lower prices or they whoever your supplier is has to pay you liquidated damages because they're not able to meet that contractual obligation.
Mm.
So I
Hmm.
would look at, what companies within that fertilizer space actually have those agreements in place, the supply agreements in place. I mean, that's not
But wouldn't you
usually
call force majeure,
public information. You could, yes,
right?
actually.
Like that's what
That's another
Qatar did.
consideration.
Yeah, that's what Qatar did. Qatar was just like, "Yo, Pete, we can't give it to you. It's not our fault." you know? So
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, that's interesting. Like it's so interesting like because like this is one thing. I like this is more generic. Like I'm not talking about anything specific, but we forget there are real things happening in the economy. Whenever we look at markets and we look at like companies, like a lot of people is just like, I am buying a ticker and ticker go up, therefore I
Mhm.
make money. But the reality is that you're buying real companies that produce and have supply chains and are moving tons of material, tons of metals, tons of silicone. There are real things happening here. Like there's contracts and things in between. All we see is the stock price though, you know? So it's super interesting. Like I love that. I love that because it's like the more you sort of take that into consideration, like the fact that there's this real things happening,
Yep.
it's like then the value can you can derive a lot of value from that too. You know.
Guys, I
Yeah.
I
Like
I
for
I
example,
I need to go.
go for it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mimi. Yeah. Okay. My bad. All right. I'll put you.
It's
I'll put
like
you in the
it's nearly
background.
midnight and I'm actually deteriorating right now. So
Okay. No.
I
No.
have
No.
to
You're
wake up
good. You're
early.
good.
But
Yeah.
it
I'll
was
put
good to
you.
see you guys. Yeah.
Same. Same. I'll put you in the background. Just don't close the tab, but you're not gonna be in.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just to
See
upload.
you next
Yeah. All right.
week.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I got to
Ow.
drop
Yeah.
also in a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Sounds good.
one thing I
Sounds good.
wanted to say was around, so for example, the flip side of that on the oil was I had this trade on FANG, Diamondback Energy, which because I research and actually, I have a little bit of an oil and gas background, so I know how like these things work. They actually had the one of the largest uh, composition in the portfolio of contracts that were at market rates. Because most of the big oil companies, they had an exporter. They had oils like they already had like 3 months and 6 month contracts for the oil that they were going to sell. So they weren't really benefiting in real terms from the increase in oil prices. But Fang,
Yeah.
they had a significant portion of their sales mark to market. So
Okay.
it was kind of, I mean,
Smart.
everything just goes up because people
You
buy
just make the
based
assumption.
on the
Yeah.
narrative, right? But even after that, you can identify companies that are undervalued relative to other companies in the same space. Just, I mean, you're basically applying business logic and understanding what are the things that you need to be looking at. So I think it's there's some place that's easy to say, oh, this is going to happen, therefore I'm going to buy this. But if you do that next level of analysis to understand, okay, is this actually right, and what are the drivers behind it, and what data can I look at to be able to confirm or you invalidate the assumptions that I'm making
The
on this play,
thesis. Yeah.
on this trade.
No, I get you. Okay. Yeah, I've realized because I bought some oil companies that I was like, oh, maybe they'll make some money, and then all of a sudden, like I bought ConocoPhillips, and it was like it's not pumping, and I still don't understand. I'm gonna look into that a little bit more, just because it's like understanding that hey, maybe they just have like 90% of their contracts already sold out on this year, and they can't make any money
Right.
because they wanted to guarantee revenue, right? That's interesting too, because like that. That's what we're seeing, for example, with RAM. The reason Micron has gone up so much is because RAM, because it's a commodity, the contracts were to be very low, like a month to month basis, maybe quarter to quarter. But because there's now a supply crunch, they're able to sell contracts for the next 2 years, 3 years at current pricing. So all of a sudden, that's why you're seeing RAM go up like crazy. You know, like it's been insane.
Yeah,
Micron is looking interesting
exactly.
here. Micron is looking interesting. Oh
All
man,
right.
but yeah, I'm heavy. All right, yo, nice chat. Let's catch up soon. Hey, also,
Yes.
same thing to you. I'll put you in the background. Don't close the tab or don't close the app if you can. So it uploads.
You got
It might
it.
take a little bit.
Bye.
All right. All right. Bye bye. Let me put you in the background. Adrian, remove participant. Bam. Nice. By the way, Graham, I did sell some of my SOXL, like a chunk, and I did exit a little bit of my Micron, which I'm looking to re-enter at some point. But my SOXL, I did sell a chunk. And then, yeah, semis are taking such a big hit here. It's crazy. Just being insane. Let's have a look. All right. Like the Dow is up like crazy. Visa's up 3%. Mark's up. UNH is up. Boeing is up. Am I making money in my Boeing trade? I'm making money with UNH. I can't complain. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next Thursday. It's gonna be tricky, man, because like the thing that did scare me with this, right, is the fact that Broadcom got so punished. The moment Broadcom gets so punished, right, like this is reminding me when Microsoft got punished, where all of a sudden expectations were not met, and every single company in the sector gets punished because of it, right? Because it's like if they're not able to keep up, and they're one of the top companies, what tells you that the rest can keep up? So that's what I'm paying attention to here. I think there will be winners. Like I think Micron wins still. But again, profit taking into this and the fact that we have data tomorrow and the fact that this is just like there are reasons to be a little bit panicky here. Not so crazy. Like I would say, like if you like I've been saying, take some trim off the top, even SOXL, trim off the top. Micron, I've been trimming off the top for the past couple of weeks. I've been trimming like crazy. I trimmed on eToro, I trimmed on my accounts, and I'm not saying it cannot go back up, but we could start finding that sort of consolidation range at the top. And then before we find yeah. So it's normal. But for example, like JP Morgan is up 2% today. Beautiful. I should have bought more JP Morgan, right? We are seeing a broadening, and we are likely to see a broadening. For this to remain healthy, we have to see that broadening. So I'm not too worried. Like I'm actually a little bit more calm now that I've spoken to them, which is like super. The reason I do these episodes, like I love everybody's perspective. Like Google is up 2% today, insane. Like Google is up, Amazon's up, Meta's up, Visa's up, MasterCard's up. Like, I'm just gonna share here. Also, by the way, I have this stuff which I didn't use. And then,
I'm really rich. Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Dimitri's on. You know, like I wonder. I don't like this new thing. Why did they change my stuff? I don't like that either. This is better. I still hate it. Yeah, I hate that. Oh, yeah, semis are taking a big beating today. Big beating. Like this Broadcom thing, man. We could bounce, but we could also just like retest here and then like continue the uptrend here, but I don't know. Oh, I got one for sure. I was getting some just before, you know. But yeah. Like, this is something to pay attention, but it was coming hot too. Like, the expected move was like it was expected. Broadcom's calls were not that crazy in pricing, but we are seeing a breather here. But SOXL still has so much like pumping value here. I'm down 16%. You got to be hurting too. I'm down less. I'm down. I sold some. I sold out of my semis plates, and then I rebought. I thought we were gonna like retest that 1,000. Now the question is how low are we gonna go from here? Are we gonna touch 950? We could, but I want to load up again. I thought we were gonna touch 800 before we got this far. So this is extended. This is overextended. But Fluence is up today. Google is up today, which I'm excited about. Because I saw the Google thing happening. And like the fact I didn't see the broadening happening because I thought the whole market was going to come down. But the fact is that they are believing Trump. They're just like diversifying their. Because it was weird. It was weird, right? Like if the war fear was real, we should have seen Walmart take a beating and all of the companies that have directly shipping exposure. Because that has gone through the roof everywhere. Good. Discipline. Like I have been streaming. I trained. I sold today Micron at 1,030. I'm kind of excited about that. Like I still hold some, but I'm kind of excited. Like I'm still getting super hurt today. Today sucks. Yesterday sucked. Yesterday I didn't pay attention to the Broadcom earnings because I was like I was indifferent. Mistake. That's the problem. But it tells me that Nvidia could potentially pump here. So I don't know. Nvidia's holding pretty well compared to the rest of the sector. You know, they do still have a ton of volume. Let me have a look at volume USD. Like, still so much volume coming in. Like there's still so much attention here. You got Broadcom with like 9. But Nvidia doesn't have that much. Intel doesn't have that much. It's just selling off because it's retesting. But we could go lower here for sure. We could go lower, like a little correction on semis. The problem is, it's like a correction in semis could be what 15%, 20%, and we would still be super high. Just no. It's so difficult to know. I know. That's the difficult part, right? That's the difficult part for sure. It's such an ugly day, dude. It's such an ugly day. 977. All semis down. Like, that's the reason I don't like software still, because there's still so little volume in that. What's on my desk? Fluence? Nobody asks me what's on my desk. You know? I need to, let me find let me find the sound. Put a crying emoji. Sounds. On my desk, I don't know. Like, I like, man, I like Fluence yesterday. What do I like today? I mean, Semi. I like Micron today. Right? Because the thing is, it's like, it doesn't just go down, right? Like, even if we were to, like, correct heavily, but we could, like, you know, like we could, we could continue to go lower, and it could be so ugly. It's hard to say, but like this, like I was expecting it. I was expecting it, like at the $1,000 level, like psychologically, you know, the fact that we're like potentially coming here, maybe we're bouncing back up just to reload, but we could also do this. We could also hit it, then test it, come down, and then retest here. Like my expectations was getting to 900 could be a thing, maybe 925, 950. That's what I'm paying attention to. Ooh, oh my god, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. But then I think there's a bad opportunity. You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's the options. This is the options market. So the like the IB rank, and do some research on IB rank. Tells you that the calls are super expensive, right? What's Bitcoin doing? Right, and that was the thing. Like right now, a lot of people are selling calls. It's cheap to buy puts, or it was cheap. I don't know if it's super cheap now. Insane. Insane. It's the thing. You gotta be willing to stomach it, right? Last time we stomached it, and it went from. I gotta remember this. I gotta remember last earnings. It did it. Right? Last earnings, it was the same thing. It had the earnings and it went all the way down, 30% down. And the company didn't look like it was slowing down. Could we see that happening today? We 100% could. We saw it again here. And then we're seeing it here again. Like 100% we could see it come down. It'd be what, 13%? You know? Yeah. So right now, it's a matter of holding. You got to stomach this in order to take it, but it's all of the AI trade right now. This is what we called a broadening of the rally, a move to safety, and fears all coming into the same thing. All coming into the same thing. Because why? Because we have unemployment data tomorrow. That could affect the rest of the market. Right? We have Trump scaring people. And it's, you have profits, you just take them. And then now that you saw some people sell, what you want to do is, like, everybody wants to sell now because everybody's freaking out. And it just creates sort of this like domino effect of the market moving in and in and in. Feels like I have a thing, but I wasn't. Freaking Micron keeps messing with me. I'm glad I sold some. I bought too early. Crap, I should have trusted my gut. I'll buy some more. It's okay. I'll buy some more. I bought too big. I should have bought freaking. I always do it, and I freaking FOMO'd in. Yeah. Okay. Send by order. Send by order. Oops. Well, we'll see. But I like that this is going to software. But you know what? It's not a lot of volume. Like it is not a lot of volume that is going into that. And the fact is that the Nasdaq is down, but look at the S&P. S&P is almost flat. And then the Dow is just, we're just moving to safety. Yeah, I mean you could buy some. Like that's the thing. That's why you want cash, right? To buy the dip. But I'm surprised at how the Russell is the thing that's actually. What in the what? Why are I finding what? So you see, if you wanted to get into Bloom Energy, good day to do so. You want to fight? You want to fight, Antonio? I'll fight you. I'll gladly fight you. I told you. I told you the same with your Nvidia stock yesterday. Credo is another one. The semiconductors. Just all semiconductors, computer hardware, anything AI right now is just rebalancing, reshuffling. Is Mara up today? Did Broadcom miss revenue? I thought they what? I don't like Broadcom. Freaking body pooper. If Broadcom missed revenue and that's the reason we're dropping, I'm buying some. I'm buying some. Is that it? Did I get this wrong? Man, I swear. I'm so tired. Did they miss? No, they didn't miss. They were in line. That's so weird. He likes to go crazy, huh? Yo, Netflix is great, dude. Now you understand why I don't have Netflix. It's okay. It's okay. Now you see, like this is the problem because I don't know if I should buy semis here or I should buy Micron. Micron seems like a safe bet, but it probably will get punished until earnings if this continues in terms of the semis. And then I wonder if it's just Broadcom or this is something that is affecting the risk because I'm scared of the gross margins. The gross margins is an area that scares the living shit out of me. But it's still Micron with like $20 billion worth of freaking sales. And like it's still not a lot of volume coming into this. But I mean Google is finding a footing here, which I like. Like, and I'm not crazy down because I moved stuff. Like the Google trade did good. Fluence did good. And then Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin too. And I'm up on Bitcoin. I'm up 3% of the Bitcoin trade. Let's go. How about Tempus AI? Do we want to talk about Tempus AI, Antonio? What is Wiflix? Well, let me tell you about this company called Wiflix. Wiflix is the reason I don't invest in Netflix. Make sure you have an ad blocker. That's all I can say. I'm not allowed to advertise it, I think. Another one that I like, and it's not here. KL. I like. Yo, Antonio, Nasdaq, TQQQ calls for this weekend. Yeah. TQQQ calls. They gotta be cheap, right? Fuck. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm actually gonna buy that. I have purchased. TQQQ calls for tomorrow, hoping for a bounce here for the rest of the day. We are sort of getting it. By the way, it's not financial advice. Do whatever you want, but like it's your money. Figure it out. If you're looking for inspiration, just copy my portfolio. Links down below. I don't even know if it's down below. I also don't know that. We could retest here and then go higher for tomorrow, because this is mostly like this is tech, right? But it's like we could see like if this is a rebalancing, we're gonna see money come back in. And I'm free falling. I sold out of my. Yeah, I mean we are bouncing. It's not a lot though. It's not a lot. ATR. So this is something to understand how a company moves. Of course I saw it. What do you think? Of course I saw it. I bought. Of course. I called it. I called it. I always call it. I thought there was going to be another chance to buy today because I thought it was going to be related to the AI stuff, but I didn't do that. They like to trade it. They're going to trade that company like the living stuff out of it. I'm going to try to farm that position for sure. Let's go. Let's go. I bought Antonio, by the way. I bought TQ calls for tomorrow. I still have my NVDL position. I just don't trust this. I should buy some more. And I'm surprised IGV is not up. I wonder why. Yeah, because of the data center stuff. Maybe. By the way, the compare tab now apparently is OP. They added a bunch of stuff too. You can now like rankings and other stuff too. So very cool. If you know anybody at Finbiz, we'll take a sponsorship. I already brought one client, which I'm happy about. We're bouncing. Dow is coming off. You know, Antonio calls me every day. Every day. Every day. And he doesn't do the research. We could. 100% we could. Like it doesn't like right. Like this is all fears of Trump. I'm buying. I've already purchased. Like I've moved money. I've already moved capital. um, I bought Google yesterday. I bought triple X Google yesterday. That was fun. I bought double Google yesterday because I just saw I think it was stupid that Google went down. Um, so I bought some. I was like, thank you very much. And then what else? I bought Fluence yesterday because the downside yesterday I didn't believe it. Mates, I mean, it's weird because it's like there's a lot of short float on Fluence. If you go to the overview, I need to get some food. Nico, where are you? But yeah, I just didn't trust it. Like I think it was just like a retest, and we're testing sort of like the support again. Then we're bouncing off. Makes sense, right? We try to break through it. We didn't when we broke through it. Now we're retesting and we go higher, and then we potentially retest here, 30. Again, it's funny because it's like the technicals make sense, but for me, it's like there has to change. But then the short float is still so high. 25% of the company is still shorted, and this has to drop drastically, but the float is higher, and the float is higher because management sold a bunch. But the question is if the shorts get out? We're gonna find out in like 10 days. We find out, and that'd be great. I just don't like Broadcom. Sorry, I don't like Broadcom. Like Broadcom is gonna do well, but so much later down the line. So much later. I used to have that superpower. If you ask my friends. Did I buy JP Morgan yesterday? Fuck, I didn't. But JP Morgan is paying the bills today. We're up 3% on that trade. And it's sizable for me. Takes time, you know? It's like not only knowing how a stock moves, but it's like and then that changes. And then all of a sudden, that doesn't matter. The market just shifts. And he's like, you just have to figure out what it is. Outperform to neutral. But Broadcom is not the AI market. So I'm like, I want to buy SOXL, but what's the... So SOXL is triple leverage SMH. Like, look at this. Like, there's been like outflows. Tell you, it's like there's been a ton of outflows. May 22nd, there were outflows. This was rebalancing here, and then here there's more rebalancing. So, and then here there's some more rebalancing. But there's just not that many sellers. I don't like gold or silver. I don't like them. What can I say? How is Microsoft doing? Because I wanted to buy Microsoft too. Fucking Microsoft. It's gonna bounce. It's upward trend channel. I wonder why you're not bumping. All right, I'm about to leave. Yeah. What would I buy right now? I gotta buy micro. You could buy, like, I mean, if you sold SOXL and you could, I don't know if it's gonna, I don't know if the, because what ended up happening with the semiconductor rally was that we saw sort of like a couple of companies go up, and then we saw sort of a reshuffling into the rest of the semiconductors, right? That's why Nvidia hasn't gone up. I'm expecting money to flow back to Nvidia at some point. The fact that Broadcom is not doing good and they might get repriced, something to pay attention to. I have to do the research on Broadcom. I haven't done it, but I know it's ASICs. And I understand. I don't think ASICs right now are the answer, because no company wants to wants to figure out how to put them in their own sort of workflow. They just want the generic stuff that they can plug in and play. I like Microsoft. I love Microsoft here. Adobe. Buy Adobe too. I like Adobe here. Adobe's up 2.7%. That's another one. I like Adobe. I like Adobe at 250. And I think Adobe is going to retest here and then going to go higher. I like Adobe. And they have earnings next week. And I think they're going to do great. They just pulled out they had their event. Like, a lot of events are happening for tech right now. Something to pay attention to. That's for sure. Just don't know if SOXL recovers today. I'm trying to figure it out. It is recovering right now. Damn, I want to buy it. Actually, I might just buy the 3. Yeah, I'm even making money on. I might actually do that. Yeah, I'm gonna buy some. The thing is like, I also don't know if people are pulling money out of the semis in order to put into the SpaceX and stuff. Something to consider here. Semis, let's buy some. We've recovered. I've recovered a lot today. Don't like the First Solar is taking a hit here. Well, it's the Dow, right? Like, it's been the Dow that's bumping like crazy. Checks out. Like, look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is green. Yeah. Like, I want to buy some more Bitcoin too. I want to buy Bitcoin too. I want to start building my position here. I don't know if this rally is going to hold, though. It depends on Trump. I don't think Trump wants to fight more. I really don't. This is not good for the midterms. He needs to, change the narrative quick. He doesn't have time. Like, he's going to concede. And if he concedes, it's going to be awful. What am I missing here? Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this. What happens to data tomorrow? Like, that's the scary bit here. I'm up on my TQQQ trade. Let's go. I don't know if it'll hold. Like I'm willing. By the way, options. Like I'm willing for them to go to zero. Understand that. I'm baffled that IGB is not up today. I think DRAM is a buy here too. DRAM, if you can get it, Dragos, it's a buy here. I think. If Micron continues to go up, I mean we're sitting at 1,000 here. You're welcome. Like, again, it could go down. I'm not like it's not financial advice, but I like Fluence here. Like, I like Fluence because it's like there's a lot of like hope, right? And obviously like the fact that they're doing deals with the hyperscalers, if the hyperscalers like, they're just gonna be able to like they're just gonna buy, right? So the hyperscalers could just like they could just be a buyout opportunity, and they could just like be like, we are not gonna fulfill any of your contracts. Bam. Because also the big beautiful bill, a lot of people don't talk about that, but the big beautiful bill and all of these spending is actually 21% discount on whatever you're spending. So big beautiful bill matters. It really matters. And people don't take that into consideration too, that you should increase as much production as you can today, even though it might come in later. Who are the winners and losers here? We're going to find out. But the BBB matters. The BBB matters. Maybe. If you want to take it. Maybe. All right. Oh, man, I'm so hungry. I need to eat. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate you. Any more questions? Any more things? Put them in the comments. Send me a message on Discord. I'm more than happy to answer to you guys. I want to get a freaking monetized on YouTube. So share my videos. Everything will be okay. I am the best investor in the world. We have the best returns here at Market Buzz. The best returns.
I'm really rich.
I'm really rich.
I'm really rich.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Peace. Holiday market. Market's to all-time highs. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Peace. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, man. So tired. So tired. Hey, so XL might be a buy here. Crap. Fuck. I don't want to buy it. But it might be a buy here. All right, peace. Bye. I'm out.